Well, as we've been seeing, parts of Texas are already experiencing Hurricane Harvey's impact. Tropical storm strength winds have reached parts of the Texas coast. Take a look at that. And the gusts are only expected to strengthen. And once that happens, officials say stay indoors.
Meanwhile, some coastal cities have been issuing mandatory evacuations. People are being encouraged to take shelter and stay off the roads. Dr. Michael Brennan is chief hurricane specialist at the National Hurricane Center. He joins us now from Miami. So our first question is, where is this storm headed and when? Break down the timing for us, please.
75 miles east-southeast of Corpus Christi, Texas. It's moving off to the northwest at about 10 miles per hour. So we expect the core of Harvey, where we have those major hurricane 120 mile per hour winds, to reach the coast of Middle Texas coast sometime tonight or early Saturday morning. So that's going to bring the core of the hurricane on shore, and that is extremely dangerous conditions in that region.
Michael, this is being compared to Hurricane Ike that hit Texas back in 2008. Explain that comparison and why that might concern us.
Well, every hurricane is different. We try to not get in the comparison realm here because every hurricane has its own unique hazards. What Harvey has that's unique for it is that it has three distinct life-threatening hazards. It has this core of very strong winds that have the potential to be life-threatening and damaging on their own when that eye wall moves ashore later tonight. But there's also the storm surge hazard, where we're going to see 6 to 12 feet of inundation or flooding above ground level with the center as it moves on shore, basically anywhere between the north entrance of the Padre Island National Seashore and Sargent, Texas. That's where we're most concerned about the storm surge flooding hazard. So that's life-threatening storm surge for anybody who's in a low-lying area or a storm surge prone area in that part of the Texas coast. And then finally, because Harvey's going to slow down so much over the next few days, it's basically going to meander here over southeast Texas and through the middle of next week. And that's going to basically result in a huge area of 15 to 25-inch rainfall totals across southeast Texas, including the Houston, Galveston area, Victoria, Corpus Christi, and potentially we could see isolated rainfall amounts as high as 35 inches. So there's going to be a lot of water with this hurricane, both for storm surge and rain. And water is what kills about 70% of people in the United States in hurricanes. So that's the most dangerous hazard that we have.
So you talked about rainfall, the risks, the threat of storm surge. We've also heard about the threat of tornadoes. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, hurricanes often produce tornadoes, especially on their periphery as they make landfall. Right now there's a tornado watch that's been issued for the middle and upper portions of the Texas coast and into southwestern Louisiana that goes into the overnight hours tonight. I know there's a couple of tornado warnings in effect right now. So that's something that people even on the periphery of the storm, well away from the center, have to be aware of and listen out for any watches or warnings. These tornadoes and tropical cyclones can spin up very quickly. You might not get a lot of warning for them, but they can be damaging.
You might not be able to answer this, but what concerns you more? The initial impact here in the next many hours, or the fact that this rain could just continue for days and days? In other words, will we not really know the damage for maybe 48 or 72 hours, or will you have a good sense by tomorrow morning how bad this was?
Well, we'll have a sense from the core and the winds with the eye wall as it comes on shore and that initial storm surge, but the storm's going to move so slowly, there's going to be this prolonged period of onshore flow from the Gulf of Mexico into the Texas coast. It's going to keep water levels very elevated just from the ocean storm surge, and then you're going to have the rainfall on top of that, and the rainfall hazard is going to extend all the way from late this week through the weekend into early next week. So we're looking at really a multi-day disaster across portions of southeast Texas and the middle Texas and upper Texas coast from Harvey.
Dr. Brennan, since you're a hurricane specialist, I imagine you've been following hurricanes for several years. What are some trends that you've seen in terms of the number and intensity of hurricanes that have hit the United States?
Well, this is the first major hurricane, if it is a major hurricane at landfall, that will have hit the U.S. in a long time. But we try not to focus so much on the sort of the statistics of how strong the storm is or how big it might be. We're really trying to focus people on the hazards, because the hazards are what kill people: the rain, the wind, especially the storm surge. So we try to focus away from the specifics about the storm itself and focus on those life-threatening hazards that we see with Harvey, unfortunately.
Hopefully people will stay safe during Hurricane Harvey. Dr. Michael Brennan, thank you for joining us.
Sure.